Good morning and welcome to the Tom Brokaw News Center here at Universal City. I'm Conan Nolan. On Friday, the LA City Council approved a $13.9 billion budget, which closes a $1 billion shortfall. Some services will be cut, and there will be a reduction in uniformed officers going forward at the LAPD. We talked with Councilmember Katy Yaroslavsky, who represents Westwood and parts of West Los Angeles. She also served as the chair of the Council Budget Committee.
Basically, what we were presented with about a month ago was the mayor's proposed budget, which would have laid off about 1,600 employees and really gutted core city services. And so over the last month, the budget committee and I, at the helm, heard from hundreds of constituents across the city, and we put together a collaborative result that restores basic city services, keeps 1,000 people employed, and starts to put us on a path towards fiscal solvency. And so it's not perfect. It's not the budget any one of us would have chosen if we had the resources we need, but we don't. And so we had to make some tough choices. And I think what it does is it puts some leverage on labor to come to the table and negotiate with us. And we may be able to restore some additional services and hopefully bring back the police hiring to where it was in the mayor's proposed budget.
We'll talk about that in a moment. So $250 million expenditure was for salary increases for unionized city workers. Yeah. You've asked them to maybe come to the bargaining table once again and ease back a little on that. Have they responded?
Yeah, so they're starting to. You know, I think the challenge with the mayor's proposed budget was that it didn't put any pressure on sworn police or fire to come to the table, because in her proposed budget they were left intact and made completely whole. The brunt was really going to be borne on the civilian side. And that was really problematic in large part because these are people who do basic city services, right? They keep our streets clean, they pave the roads. They're specialized LAPD employees who do DNA rape kit analysis and fingerprinting, and they're the crime scene photographers. And so we needed to restore those positions, and we needed to figure out how to pay for it.
Do you believe that public safety is the primary responsibility of city government?
I do. I do. Quality of life and public safety are the two most important things.
Right, because the argument is that you have sustained a lot of those positions by cutting back on uniformed LAPD officers. Not directly, no officer is going to get fired, but you're eliminating a number of the academy classes. So through attrition, you're not going to be replacing officers in accordance with how many people actually leave the department. So we'll be down to an LAPD uniformed officer commitment to about 1995 levels by next year. Is that a good thing?
No, and I don't think that's where we're going to land. So I very much want those class sizes to come back up too. I think it's incredibly important that we get there. And we've created a budget that creates the conditions by which labor might come to the table now, where in the past they didn't have an incentive to. And I've had conversations with the police union leadership, and they're interested in coming to the table. The budget is a living document, and it's very much now in the court of our labor partners to come to the table and negotiate.
We're seeing a downturn in tourism. Yet the council's reaction to that is to increase the price of a hotel room. The vote by the council was a $30 an hour minimum wage hike for hotel workers and restaurant workers through LAX, $8 an hour approximately in addition for healthcare, and that was easily the highest in the country. Is that at all a concern to you? I mean, Universal Sheridan over here says we're not building an extra tower. We're going to build a tower. We're not going to do it anymore because this is not a good place to do business.
The ramp up to 30 is over time, right? It's a little over $2 an hour until you get there. And so my commitment to my constituents and the businesses in my district and across the city is that if we're seeing warning signs flashing, you know, a lot of hotels are applying for the a variance so that they don't have to pay this an exception, and we're seeing that it's going to tank our local hotel industry and tourism industry. We can put a pause on it. You know, what I am concerned about though is the very steep increase on the healthcare side, that $8 that you talked about, which is why I and a majority of the council members voted to delay that a year on the hotel side.
They want to go to the ballot. The Hotel Association have the city vote on that. What do you think of that idea?
Look, I think, I think it's a complicated issue. I tend to think that ballot measures are overly simplified, where you have one special interest putting something on a ballot. It tends to result in, I think, not optimal outcomes in terms of policymaking. But I do think that it does put pressure on us to resolve the hotel worker, the restaurant worker issue, and some of the biggest issues with this that they raised. And my commitment to them is that we're going to keep having those conversations and doing roundtables with the people most impacted and making sure that that policy change is something that works for them.
This was a $1 billion budget shortfall.
Mm-hmm.
It may get worse.
Mm.
What should the public know about city government going forward?
Well, one of the reasons I agreed to chair the budget committee was because having come from the county where there's a lot more resources, and you can, they don't operate from a place of scarcity in the same way the city does. So I was excited to think about how we could do more with what we already have without raising people's taxes. So, for example, we own billions of dollars worth of real estate that's wildly underutilized. We should be entering into public-private partnerships that bring revenue to the city of Los Angeles, just as like the county owns the Marina del Rey, right? And they're the landlord, and they make rent every year, tens of millions of dollars a year from the marina. We should be doing the same thing on some of our city-owned property. There's things we could be doing around billboards. We're leaving so much money on the table in so many different ways that aren't going to hit people's taxes, or they're not going to feel it. So that's what I'm excited about. I think we can use this year, knowing that things might very well get worse. We may go into recession with what's happening in Washington, right? But there's an opportunity for us to be smarter with what we have. And I say this a lot, but this is Los Angeles. It's not some podunk town somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. Our people are our greatest asset. There's so much happening here. People want to be here still, and we need to figure out how to leverage that in a way that better serves Angelenos.
Katy Yaroslavsky, thank you very much for taking the time. Good luck.
Thank you.